I did want to add to that dating conversation, and my take might be a little controversial, but I agree with what the lady was saying for younger women. Actually, I actually think that younger women should date multiple people because I personally I don't think dating means that just sleeping with the person or having a relationship with them, right? Like I think that's a relationship or that's like sleeping with each other. But I feel like the way dating was supposed to be is you're supposed to be going out, meeting multiple people, going to different outings, getting to know different people, getting to know what you like about other people. And then for women, like if it was my daughter, I would want her then to choose from the person who's showing the most effort to be with her. So I feel like the best way for her to see that would be like how women dated in the old days. They had suitors. So if it was my daughter, how I would advise her to date is I would want her to date as many guys as possible. I would just tell her to refrain from sleeping with those guys. But as far as dating, yeah, you should go out with all these different guys, see what they're offering, see what they have to say, see how consistent they are with their word, get to know who's who. And then when you find one that you feel like is the top one and that you feel like is the best pick, that's the person, and that person is trying to propose to you. Fantastic. That should be the person that you settle down with. I think that's how traditional dating was supposed to work. I just think that it gets muddied because people aren't um waiting for marriage to have sex now, you know. If people were still waiting for marriage to have sex, then dating multiple people would not be a problem at all. It would actually be a great dating strategy for men and women because even as a guy, like, you know, you don't want to just date one girl and then, you know, you think you're in love and then it might not be the woman for you. Better you get to know multiple women, find the one that's the right one over time, and then you can say, okay, I'm sure that this is the woman I want to commit the rest of my life to. But we're not living in that world where people are taking the time because people are just fucking like rabbits at the end of the day. That's really why that strategy wouldn't work. So if she's telling women to just go out there and fuck, then I wouldn't say that's a great strategy for them to get what they want if it's marriage. But if she's telling them to date multiple men and not sleep with them, hell yeah, I think that's a great strategy for a woman to employ if she's looking to be married.
Yeah, I gotta follow up after King.
Hold on a minute, Cloud. What are you talking about, brother?
Say, I was about to say, like, the way don't say you agree with me and follow up with that, because I was
No,
gonna
go
say
ahead, brother.
that was one of my integral issues that I was gonna get into if I'm allowed back on, is that's the issue. I just don't want a daughter, but when I have a dude give me his advice that he gonna tell a female, it's gonna be the same advice you tell a guy. That's the problem. That's literally the
That's a
issue.
big problem.
And then you say back in the day. No, back in the day, or in other countries, it's a money thing, or they're courted in a different way, and the father decides. So that's how that was decided. But to tell a female, and then you saying that you're gonna trust your daughter to make that decision,
They're
and
not
then we
courted,
going.
Well,
they're
well,
arranged.
I don't
well,
understand. Okay, well, oh, that's even better.
Yeah, you
Arranged.
meant
So
arranged. Yeah.
that was the word I was looking for. So
Yeah, yeah,
arranged is
yeah. They're
still better
arranged because
than it's
courting is
still
not
better
even
than.
biblical and neither is dating. So he said like traditional dating. I'm like, please tell me the
I'm talking about the
origination.
origins of dating. I'm not talking about the origins
Okay, but
of
that's what I'm saying.
like
The origins of dating
I'm
Yeah,
is
but
is the origins of hoeing. So we still
yeah, it's the
giving
origins of
the
hoeing,
advice of
courting, all
what
that,
makes
because
sense.
none of that is
It
well,
always
origin of
makes
the
sense to
well,
tell a
tradition.
guy. It always makes sense to tell
I
a man to do that because you're trying to figure out what makes sense for you.
I
Because
hear your point.
you're building that value. She's born with that value. She's supposed to just
I
cherish
hear
and
your
not
point.
give it away. So why aren't we
I
just
hear your
preaching
point.
don't give it away, not figure out
I hear
how
your
not to
point,
give
but
it away?
that's literally
Just don't give it away.
I hear your point, but if you were listening to what I said in its entirety, I expressly said that I don't think she should be sleeping around. So again, my view of dating may be different than your view of dating. Your view of dating, or the frame of dating that you're thinking of may include sex. The frame of dating that I'm speaking from is one that doesn't include sex.
All
So
right.
I'm
Well, I'll
saying
ask you, what's your version? What's your
so I'm
version of
saying
insinuation? What does insinuation mean?
so I'm saying that if you're dating someone and not having sex, I don't think there's anything wrong with dating multiple people when you're not sleeping with them. That's all I'm saying. For someone
I'm
who
saying
just
it's
let
2025.
me let me put
That
it this way,
how
right?
real? I'm asking
Let
you to
me
be
put it this way.
realistic. Is
What
that
is wrong
realistic in
with sex?
2025?
Canvas,
Like,
I
canvas,
I don't think
canvas.
anything's
Let me
but
put it this way,
I'm being
guys.
asked
Let
a
me
lot of questions. I don't know which one
yeah
to go
yeah.
first.
Let me put it this way, guys. If you ever advise anybody to date and men know about it, men don't kind of discern it the way you're gonna discern it. Men equate sex to dating, equate dating to sex. because they're not in a private house with you to know if you're sexing or not. You see what I'm saying? So as a father, we cannot tell our daughters to be dating. It's just not the right advice. We can tell her to bring who she's dating to the house.
That's dating.
Let's get who she is dating to the house. Because the reason why it's two different things is this: you can't guide a woman not to have sex by telling her you can date multiple people or you can date people but don't have sex. You cannot do that. You know
Hold on,
why? Because she might have that sex without even telling you because she don't want to disappoint daddy, right?
hold on. Too many assumptions are being made. I didn't say
Because
that
it's a
she need to
reality.
be running the streets. I'm not saying that if it's my child, there would be no supervision, right? The specifics and the nuances of how you supervise your child is how you supervise your child. All I'm saying is, if my daughter wanted to get to know boys, right, and was not having sex with them, right, she wants to get to know different boys. I would suggest her at a young age not to commit to a boy at any age. I would say get to know those boys, have friendships with those boys, but don't sleep with those boys. Find one of those boys that wants to make you his wife.
But you
And
can do
and that
that, brother.
hold
You
on,
can do that.
stop,
Hold on.
hold on. Y'all
Before
interrupted
you
me, but
get to
hold on. This is
explaining
how
more,
y'all
hold on. Before you get to
hold on. This
explaining
is
more,
why y'all confuse me, right?
uh,
Because y'all always talk this pro-marriage talk. And I'm literally just saying, I'm not saying, hey, go out there and sleep with men. I'm saying get to know, go meet the person you're going to marry, right? And then when you find someone who's showing you that they're serious, get married to that person. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand what's so controversial about what I'm saying right now.
Look, it
I'm
is
saying
controversial.
I'm saying women should be free to get to know the person that will eventually be their husband. I don't
Don't
think
you
they
want
should settle.
don't
I
you
don't
want
think
the
they should settle
woman?
with the
Don't you
first
want
person that shows any interest at all. I think
hold
that's
on
a
a
bad
minute.
choice for
Clark,
anybody.
don't you want
Dory,
your
ain't that what I
daughter?
said
Don't you
earlier?
want your daughter to bring the whichever man she's dating to your house and
Yes,
introduce the man to your house?
absolutely. Absolutely. I
Yes,
would
that's what
say.
you should say.
I'm
And
not
then
arguing
you
about
get to
that.
choose for her if that man is good to be married. Because guess what? You're a man. You're gonna be the one to discern that to know if that guy is good for
Sure,
marriage or not. You don't want your
sure.
daughter bringing a gangster home and
I'm
then
not
you telling your daughter, you know
necessarily
what? If that's who you love, go ahead and marry a gangster that shoot up the club.
I hear
Come
exactly.
on,
you,
bro.
but
That's
hold
what I
on.
was saying. That's why I asked you. I said, "What does the word insinuation mean to you?" Because that's what I'm saying. You insinuating a lot of things and putting a lot of insinuations into her mind to say, "Oh, date." So if she dates somebody that's got enough money to spoil her versus this, you could just say what you was claiming at the end, which is okay, make friends and then bring them to the house, or what friends are you interested in, or who are you interested in, bring them over, and then so I can tell you who is best for you. You can say that's
So
the area that I'm going into. No, you said,
what's
well,
happening
I'm
right
gonna tell
now
her
is
and everything else.
what's happening right now is you guys are projecting your own opinions onto what I said. I didn't say that she should be out running the streets and
No,
that
you
that I,
said dating
hold on,
by
stop.
default.
Let me
By
let me
default,
respond to you.
when you
Y'all.
when
One
you
mic,
date
y'all.
the
One
house,
mic,
not
one
the
mic,
Let me
house,
one mic.
respond to you. I never
when
made
you
any
going out.
claims. I never made any claims that she shouldn't bring the guy home to meet her father. I didn't make any claims that you shouldn't get to know the guy and help in the selection process. These are assertions that you guys are making. All I
But you
said
said
was,
dating, and
all
you're
I
assuming
said was that if
if you're dating,
hold
you're
on,
going
hold
outside,
on,
right?
Yeah,
hold
yeah,
on.
yeah. Canvas, hold on,
Hey,
let him
y'all
finish.
talking. Hey,
Hold
y'all
on.
talking over
We
each
live
other.
in America. We live in
Go ahead
America
now.
in 2025. I don't know what world y'all live in, but your kids are gonna go outside. So if you guys are trying to pretend we live in somewhere where these kids or where your daughters are not gonna be outside, I feel bad for y'all because y'all daughters are gonna have it the worst. The kids are gonna go outside. All I'm saying is because I know they're going to go outside, I would tell my daughter, hey, there's nothing wrong with you liking a boy. There's nothing wrong with you getting to know that boy. There's nothing wrong with y'all going bowling. There's nothing wrong with y'all going to get food. I would tell her, lock it down for the one that wants to marry you. But other than that, feel free to have experiences, normal experiences, dating experiences. I'm not talking about sex. That's where y'all keep going. It is normal for your daughter to go to movies with friends. It's normal for your daughter to potentially have dinner with a guy. I don't think that's crazy. Have lunch with a guy, go bowling. I don't think those things are crazy. You guys are acting like I'm saying your daughter should be out at the club busting it open for 10 guys at a time. All I'm saying is that she should be able to meet guys, she should be able to meet the opposite sex and have outings with them. outings, doing things together to get to know one another. And when she finds the person who she feels like she likes and is also a good fit, and that person is also marriage minded, I think that then she should pick, along with her family and her support system, the best choice out of those people who are marriage minded and want to take her seriously. I'm not advocating for a woman to be running the streets and just picking and choosing on her own. Obviously, the family, the father should be a part of the process.
It's good that you clarify this
Yeah,
because I
we go.
gotta
That's what I
tell
was
you,
gonna say. I was
you
way
did
more
you didn't
concise.
add those when you were
That's
talking
all I'm
at
saying. I was
all.
way more
No,
concise.
y'all not
Back in
coming.
there, he wasn't even going that far with it. Like
Yeah,
he was
exactly. I
saying,
shouldn't have to. Y'all are projecting. I shouldn't have to explain that nuance. Like, I'm not
No,
trying to give
no,
y'all
no,
the
no.
whole layout. I was saying basically,
Nah, it's
I
the
don't see nothing wrong with
nah. This is what I'm saying.
women
It
dating.
wasn't a projection. I'm
Dory,
saying this
we
how you
know
did it.
We
You
know
started
Clark
off
very
No,
by
well. We know
saying
where he
you
was
simply
headed
hold
to.
on,
We
started
hold
don't
off
on,
try
and
to
hold
you
on.
said,
be
"I'm gonna
ahead,
give
Hold
a
Clark.
on,
woman
hold
Because
daughter
we
on.
know
advice.
him. We know
Hold
where
I'm
he
gonna
on.
is.
give a
He
father
was
the son advice." That's
Hold
what you
on, y'all.
said.
Man,
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that when you started out, that's how you came out the gate. You was like, "This is my daughter advice. This is my son advice," and it was the same advice. So we was like, what we doing here?"
there are places where the advice would cross over, meaning I would want both of them to weigh options. Now, am I telling them both to weigh options in the same exact way? Obviously not. Men and women are different. But what I'm saying is, I wouldn't tell my son to get married to the first girl he thinks is cute, and I wouldn't tell my daughter to get married to the first guy she think is cute. I would say, hey, you're gonna meet a lot of girls that you might like. You're gonna meet a lot of guys you might like. Don't rush into anything. Take your time, get to know them, see how serious they are about you. When you
now
find,
you confusing us again, Cloud.
I don't know how that's confusing. I really don't know. I
back
don't
in
know
there,
what's
he
confusing about that. I'm speaking normal English. I don't understand. Like, yeah, I don't know what y'all be hearing when I'm talking these
For
words to you.
for a man, that's so. You see, the context of your words matter. For a man, yes, get to know other women, but for a woman, get to know other men. You confusing us, brother.
There we
A
go.
Hold on,
woman is
hold
not
on.
supposed to get to know
How
multiple
is your
men.
daughter? How is your daughter? Hold on. In 2025,
Yeah,
where the daughters go out to school with boys, like there's boys in the schools they go to. You're
yes.
expecting that your daughter's not gonna. You want your daughter to find a husband, but not get to know the man that's going to be her husband that she's supposed to build a life
I
with.
got a
She shouldn't get to know
I'm
him at
gonna
all.
answer that.
That's
I,
crazy.
let me answer. Let me
That's
answer that
crazy
canvas.
Now
He
question.
asked me a
I'm
question.
gonna
Let
answer
me
it real
answer.
quick.
No, let
I'm
me
gonna
answer
answer it.
because he asked. No, no,
She
go.
has friends. She has a phone. She has a father. Those are ways she could figure that out.
So you don't think
Because
that
those are the ways she's gonna figure it out anyway.
so you don't think that
And that
she's
didn't
seen
involve dating at
real
all.
world. Hold on. So you don't think that if this is your daughter, I'm saying, you don't think that your daughter should have real world interactions with the
No, she
man.
can. Those are
Hold
real
on,
world
let me
interactions.
finish the questions, bro. Let me finish the question, and I'll listen to your answer with no interruption. I'm
All right,
saying your daughter, right? You don't think that she should have real world interactions with the man she potentially is going to spend the rest of her life and build a family with? You don't think she should have real world interactions with him in
It's
public?
not. It's not. It's not
Hold on,
in public. Yes, yes, yes.
prior to the marriage? You don't think that's realistic? I'm
Nah,
not
that's
saying it has to
realistic.
be
Hold on.
unsupervised.
That's realistic, but that's a projection. I didn't nothing that I said meant she didn't go on dates. Didn't mean she didn't go on field trips. Didn't mean she didn't go to what it was, dances or other things. That
Okay.
just means it's coordinated. I got the parents' numbers. They may have my number, etc. There's other ways that we can mitigate that, and that's why I said she has friends. That means she's observing these things as it
Your
happens, and I can
concern is
say,
the
you know what,
supervision.
when I want you to, as a father, when I want you to uh,
So your
indulge
concern
in
is
dating
supervision,
will be
essentially.
in college because that's when everybody is goal minded. So I want you to do that in college because that's what I want to project. But that's me personally.
All right, hold on. So
Uh,
let me just see if I understand your argument correct. You're basically saying that your concern is the supervision. You basically feel that it should be supervised.
Of course, because that's a daughter.
All right, I agree with you on that 100%. Now, where I disagree though, where I have to disagree with you is that encourage her to do it in college, bro. We all know what happens
Because
in
you
college.
said goal
That is the
minded.
last.
Because
Hold
you
on,
said goal
I'm gonna be real with
minded.
you. No, I hear
I
you,
was.
and
I
You
and
said
I
was. I
encourage.
was gonna.
and I agree
Everything you
that there
said with
are a
dating
lot of.
was a project. Hold on.
Hold
Everything
on,
you said
I
with
hear you.
dating is also a projection of faith. So I have to have faith that she's gonna wait till college to even not be doing anything sexual. The same way you in dating is gonna assume she's not doing sexual because you said
See,
that.
now this is where I'm gonna disagree, and I'll just tell you the slight difference in the way I see it. The way I see it is before she goes to college, I would want her to kind of have some of those experiences. That way, when she gets to college, it's not like, yo, I didn't get to have none of these experiences. I'm about to wild out. I would rather be like, yo, bring the boy to the house. Okay, we'll be supervised and go to the movies. We'll be like you said. I agree with the supervision. You can do things supervised, and some things I'll give you trust to do freely, just so that by the time college comes, it's not like a mind shock, because everybody knows
I agree with
young
you.
girls, these young girls go crazy. The
Cloud,
time they do it the most is in college.
Cloud,
Most
Cloud.
women,
Now
they
you
rest
made a lot
their
of
bodies in college.
you made a lot of sense right now, Cloud. You know why? Because I gotta say this. I dated two girls in college. They were both virgins, and they graduated virgins in college. You see what I'm saying? It's good to prepare them before they get to college.
Right.
You see what I'm? It's good to prepare them. It's good to have those discussions, but you gotta start that discussion very early in life.
Yes,
Very, very early in life, you're gonna have that discussion. Don't allow her to go and experience it and then have that discussion. It's gonna be too late.
I agree.
It's gonna be you gotta start having that discussion as early as 5. I'm telling you for real, because these kids they retain and then they process, especially the girls, they retain and process. And then when it comes to college, I don't advise parents to get their girls to go to college outside the city where they reside. It's good for these girls to go to college in the same city where you stay, because it protects them. Maybe sophomore, junior and senior, they can go out of the house, but you see that sophomore, freshman and sophomore, they should stay at home and go to local college. It helps a lot. And the two girls that I know, they both went through the same.
All
Because
right.
freshman man is called careless age.
Mhm.
Freshman age is called careless age.